All right, so we're changing the rear differential fluid on this 2011 Honda CR-V. And first things first, I need to clean out these plugs. This appears to be the drain plug. And I believe it takes a, I thought it was a hex, but it looks like it's a 3/8 drive. I'm just going to clean all the rust and dirt out of there because we want to make sure that the drive portion of the ratchet seats the best that it can so that we don't round that plug off. Once I get this thing cleaned out, I'm also going to clean all of the crud and dirt and oil undercoating off from the surrounding area, and then I will locate the fill plug. Yeah, I got the wire brush on the end of my drill here and just went around and cleaned that all up real nice. Like I say, not so much for the drain plug, but in the fill plug location, you do not want any dirt, any contamination getting inside of there. Honestly, it would probably live a long life without, if it did get some dirt in there, but yeah, just try not to get dirt in there. Okay guys, so here is the fill plug. It's on the opposite side of the drain plug. This is on the passenger side of the vehicle. Same deal, 3/8 drive. They're probably the exact same plug. It's right behind the axle. So same thing, I'm gonna go ahead and clean all this crud out of here, get this thing nice and cleaned up, and then we will break these free. One good thing to try to do is loosen off your fill plug first, because if for whatever reason you're doing this at home and you get the drain plug out and drain all the oil and then something happens where that strips or you can't get the fill plug out, then you're gonna have troubles obviously filling it up, right? So it's good practice to take the fill plug out first, then the drain plug. Okay, so I've cleaned out the best I can the center of this plug. What I'm gonna do now is just take an extension and I'm gonna line it up here and just tap it in. And I'm just doing that to try to break off any of the other rust that's in the way. So I'm just going to do this, and then I'll get my ratchet in there. I'll grab a ratchet and just clean out any of this rust here. Hopefully yours isn't this rusty. That should be good. Now, go ahead and put this in. Can't tell if it's not. Okay, so we got that loose. I'm gonna take this thing out and probably put it in the sandblaster and clean all the rust out of it because I could barely get that extension in. So I'm gonna lift this thing up so we can catch this oil.
It shouldn't come out of the fill, does it?
Yeah, it will.
Oh.
Sorry, it will not come out of the fill. I thought you said drain. A little bit might come out. It usually doesn't, but it might. That's a long, deep plug. All right, yeah, a little bit come out. Yeah, see if I can, what is this like? So much rust. Okay, now I'm gonna do, let's actually drain it now. A little tight. fluid looks pretty good. It's not, it doesn't look metallic-y at all. It doesn't even look burnt. Looks very good. So that's a good sign that this thing's been living a healthy life and it hasn't been beat on. Yeah, I'm just gonna go and clean these drain plugs up. And I've got new gaskets. So I'll show you the part numbers to those. And then we'll put our drain plug back in once it's done draining here.
Did
Get it filled up.
is that the gasket stuck on there or no?
It does look like that's the gasket stuck on there.
Grab the pick.
Yeah. Yeah, so another good thing to watch is just make sure that you're not doubling up on gaskets. You can see how crusty and gross that is. And you always want to replace these just because they crush every time. Once it's installed, that metal actually gets crushed down to seal any imperfections in the cast and the plug. So, yep. All right, so we got our new gasket on there. Install the drain plug first. They get torqued down to 35 foot-pounds. Both drain and fill plug get torqued to 35 foot-pounds. 35. Perfect. And now we can fill up our differential. So very simple on these things. You just fill it up until it starts to overflow, and then just wait till it starts to just dribble a little bit or stop, and then we can install our fill plug. Okay, so these bottles that come from Honda do not have one of these lids, but I do. So I'm just gonna try to fill it up this way. I was going to get my, oh, this might suck. I was going to try to get my suction / fill tube gun thing out and do it that way, but if I can do it this way, then that's what I'm gonna do. Alrighty, so you can see there, she's just pretty well over full, so I'm gonna let that run until it stops running, and then we can go ahead and install our plug. Yeah, this is just what it calls for from Honda. They call it Honda Genuine Dual Pump Fluid 2. So I don't know why they don't just call it Diff fluid or like gear oil or with a weight on it. They don't even give you a weight, so it's so thin. So anyhow, yep, we're pretty well done there. So now we're gonna just install our fill plug wherever I set that thing. Perfect. Now we can just clean the diff off, make sure that it's all clean, and should be good to go. One other thing that you may want to do while you're here is just check the vent on this diff. So pretty well every diff that I know of ever made has a vent pressure, because as you're driving down the road, heat starts to build up and that fluid and the surrounding air expands and the pressure needs to go somewhere. And if the vent's plugged, what happens is it usually pushes the oil past the axle seals, is the #1 spot, or it might push it into this coupler assembly. So this is the diff, this is the coupler. There's a clutch pack in there. And usually they're electronically controlled to vary the 4-wheel drive. And yeah, I've seen them get damaged before, but yep, check the vent. If you got any questions, throw them down in the comments below. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. And as always, don't forget to subscribe.